What's up, friends of the good mood? This is Manni and welcome to the last piece of my paramotor training, mein Motorschirm Prüfungsflug in German, or the practical test or exam in English, where the last thing I needed to do in order to get my pilot's license, and I have it now. Woo! And this video was made so I can show you exactly what you gotta do in Germany right now to get the last piece finished. After you've gathered all the flights and you've done your theoretical training, now that was the last piece, the practical test. Pre-flight, of course, wind conditions checked, wing laid out correctly, motor checked, and all belts are closed. So let's go over to phase 1, the launch. Making sure that nobody is coming in for another landing, calling Motorschirm Start to make sure they know you're about to start. And then we're gonna check out Alright, after a successful launch, we have to gain around 150 meters of altitude to get into the Platzrunde, or the aerodrome circle in English. I'm not so familiar with all the English words that I have to use here, so correct me if I'm saying something wrong, please, okay? We need to do a 90-degree turn to the right and another 90-degree turn to the right after that, and then we do the Leitlinien 8 in German. I think it may be called like a guidance 8 in English, not sure if that's the right word, but you're gonna see all this right now. That is part of the practical test that needs to be done in order to pass this exam or test, right? And during this Leitlinien 8, you come from down here, you make one circle to the right and come back, and then a circle to the left and you come back. Gegenabflug, downwind turn, and here we go with the 8. And as I said, important is you need to maintain your altitude with the paramotor. I first turned leftwise and then I turned rightwise, and then we lead out of the 8 and coming in for the approaching of the bearing point, the landing point. Auf Deutsch versucht ihr jetzt hier in 150 Metern Höhe und Distanz zum Landepunkt etwa den Motor auszuschalten. In der Situation war es mir erlaubt, ihn anzubehalten. But you're trying to have the engine either on idle, or you turn the engine off at the point where you are 150 meters away and above, parallel to your landing point. And now you have to narrow in and try to land right. And you have to simulate an emergency landing, right? Der Grundgedanke mit Engine oder Motor aus ist der, dass du eine Notlandung simulierst. Dein Motor hat ein Problem, du musst jetzt landen und deswegen kein Thrust mehr oder kein Power mehr auf dem Motor. No thrust anymore. You gotta do it all as if this was with a problem on your motor. And then phase 9, final approach, Endanflug. And you can still curve a little bit to adjust your landing height so that you don't overshoot or come too short of your landing point. You may still curve a little bit, but in this case, kill the engine. If you made the decision to land now, kill your engine, get ready to run. With the sun coming from behind and the shadow in front, it was really nice how you could see the whole landing taking place. Phase 11 is basically the last one. Clear the landing area as quick as you can. And if you have laid down your chute, your glider correctly after, and you didn't fall over or slip on your landing, or you haven't run somebody over, then usually if you have done the Leitlinien 8, the guidance 8 or whatever right, and you have not completely missed your landing area like by more than 50 meters or so, or 40 meters, it's actually 25 meters, but you know, it always depends a bit on the weather, and sometimes they're willing to say, okay, you've gone a little bit too far, but the rest was good, so it's not a big deal, right? And as long as you have done all these things, usually you're probably going to get your practical test passed. And that was here a happy Manni that already knew that he probably got his final exam passed. And I'm so happy about this, ladies and gentlemen. That means I can do this now as often as I want if the weather is good and if I have some time for it, obviously. But at least I can now here find a landing spot or starting like an airfield somewhere near, and I can try to maybe become a member of those or something, and then just start and land and have a bit of a flying time for me, for you guys, and also give you guys some more video content. Now I don't have to be, you know, getting into the training and syncing it all with a flight instructor. No, now I can just go and have my own flights. As we have seen right here, this was still part of the training where I was flying over the Edersee in Bad Wildungen, near Bad Wildungen in Germany. And this here is a slight variation of it. It's a little bit next to it, and I'm flying to the right of it. And I have a different and interesting camera perspective for you guys right here. You see, this is the start that I recorded with this orange Skytrax thing that I had, and this is the flight that you have just seen next to this lake. Where we're basically just flying here, and it was recorded. It's very accurate what you've seen right here. This little thing was exactly my flight that it was recorded and then you know, loaded into this program for you guys to visualize, and that's really cool. And here we are basically approaching the Edertalsperre. You see it here to the right. Hold on, I'm gonna zoom in on that first in a second. So am I gonna show it? Here it is. See, that's the Edertalsperre. It's a very, very nice place, and I've not been there directly, but I've flown over it. And the last part is cooler than just walking over it, I think. So yeah, and in the distance over there you also see the lake and everything. So yeah, I love it. You can see things from up here that normally you would never be able to see. For example, how tight the trees and the top of the trees are, right? They are so tight up there, they're literally trying to catch every little piece of sunlight somewhere with some kind of leaf or whatever, and trying to get any advantage over the other plants around them by becoming the highest trees and just really expanding and trying to get every piece of sunlight up there. And that's why it's getting so tight up there. Stuff that you normally don't see with your eyes because you don't have this top-down view on a forest, right? And that's just the wonders that you can explore from this third dimension now, this high up altitude with this relatively slow flight thing, the Paramotor. And yeah, so by the way, I had to do 2 landings here. That's what you've seen down there. But I'm going to show you the landing also now. The last landing after this so-called Streckenflug in German. It's one of those larger flights where you have to be around for almost an hour or so. You have to be flying. You have a certain destination and you need to come back on your own. You have your Skytrax or whatever, you know, your variometer. I'm not sure how you call it in English. You have it on your on you and the GPS thing, and you know what you got to do, and you come back and you land in safely on your own. And that's all part of the training also. That was what I had to do before I could do the practical exam. I had to do 3 of these larger flights, and of course dozens of landing practices and starting practices. Probably started and landed around 40 times so far when I was finished finally with the whole thing. So here again, coming in with a landing, perfect and beautiful camera perspective with the sun from behind. Nicely dodged here my buddy who was standing there and trying to prepare for our launch. I didn't run over him, I didn't crash into him. I did it all right. And now I finally have the license, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo! More video content is gonna come up relatively soon. And tell me what you think about this camera perspective. I felt like this was really a fun way to show this. In the future, I will also have a drone record me, or I have somebody else filming me from outside, and my own GoPro somewhere. There's gonna be lots of different camera perspectives coming up, but this one was kind of special with the shadow. I loved it. So yeah, guys, have a good one. See you next time, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and comment down below. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, as brutal as a man can hit, for more. Thanks for being with me. You guys are awesome as always. Manni signing off. Bye-bye.